Live stream is coming.
Ah, there you are. My bad.
Live stream is up.
All right. Showing it's live to me as well. 7:02, we're 2 minutes late. Are we ready to go?
Sure.
Fantastic. Well, I would like to, first of all, welcome everybody today to the December 1st, 2020 Dayton City Council meeting. Roll call, please. Donna?
Yes. Mayor Baker?
Here.
Member Volter?
Here.
Member Neary?
Here.
Member Baszler?
Here.
Member Cornett? Member Burns?
Here.
Member Lynn?
Here.
City Administrator Giffen?
Here.
City Attorney Edge?
Here.
And we would like to respectfully miss Ms. Cornett for her absence. She is traveling to see family today. So wish her safe travels and looking forward to see her next month. Now I'll move along to the prayer and the pledge. So a moment of silence, please. Now I do have a flag to my left here. Oh, there's one. That's nice. So if you could please say the Pledge of Allegiance with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. Moving along to the mayor's report, not too long. First of all, I want to thank Bob Yoder for Bob has been working with our local businesses. They're obviously dealing with COVID-19, and there is a $40 million pool of money out there in the state of Kentucky, and Bob is working on getting each of our businesses $10,000. He's been writing those grants, and it started yesterday. So big kudos for Bob for working with those folks and making sure that our businesses can get help when they need it. Second of all, and more kudos to administration here. Yesterday was the last day that you could pay your city taxes without a penalty, and seeing firsthand how Donna and Tiffany and Joan and others have worked diligently to make sure that everyone is paying their taxes and getting those due. So please pay those if you haven't. And thank you very much. Two more things. We have Light Up Dayton. Light Up Dayton will continue this year. It's been an awkward year, obviously, with COVID-19. However, we will still continue to do Light Up Dayton. This year is going to be a little bit different. We're going to do door-to-door. So if you have a child and they are 12 years of age or younger, please sign up on the city's website, on Facebook. There's a couple different ways you can do that so that we can go out and deliver those children presents. Santa will be moving throughout the city with the help of Dayton Police Department. And so sit on your porch and wave at Santa as he comes by. They might have a special person in the back seat of the cop car where nobody wants to be, but that's where he's at. So we're going to be doing that on the 13th, I believe, of December. Am I correct?
Yes.
Thanks, Donna. So
Okay.
We'll be doing that on the 13th of December. So get your kids signed up so we can get them all some gifts and come out and see Santa and his folks. Alongside that same idea, we are hosting the Civic Club is hosting a decoration contest, and that it goes for both businesses and also residents. So get outside, light up your house, light up your business, And when you do, and if you win, you will win some Kroger gift cards. And we really appreciate the Civic Club's continual work as we work through this pandemic. The last thing, oh, there it is. So there you see, first prize is $100, second prize is $75, third prize is $50. So get outside and decorate your home, and we'll be happy to recognize those folks who did that. And drive around and check them out. Thanks, Bob. Lastly is we've had some turnover and also some rehire or new hires in the police department. We have 3 new police members that are joining our force. We're very excited to have them. We're putting together some bios. We're going to put them out to council and also the public in the next few days. So stay tuned. We'll introduce these folks who are protecting our streets, and we're very thankful for them and helping keep Dayton safe. That is all I have for the mayor's report. So we're going to move along to ordinances and orders, which will be the second reading of 2020 number 15, amending the regulations for the issuance of temporary permits for dumpsters and portable storage units. Ms. Ledger?
City of Dayton, Kentucky, ordinance number 2020 number 15. An ordinance amending regulations for the issuance of temporary permits for dumpsters and portable storage units. Second reading.
And that was a second reading. So do I have a motion to accept ordinance 2020 number 15?
Move to accept second reading of 2020 number 15.
Member Volters made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any comments on number 2020 number 15?
Mayor, I have one comment. I commented last month. I have no problem about the ordinance, except the fact that you're going to charge somebody if they put it on private property. And I don't understand how you're going to infringe on somebody's rights to put it on their own private property, but that's here to there. But I'm telling you, I know Tom Eds says it's legal because he wrote the ordinance up, but I don't agree with it.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Any other comments? Well, we have a motion and a second. Can I please have a roll call, Ms. Ledger?
Yes. Member Baszler?
Aye.
Member Burns?
No.
Member Lynn?
Aye.
Member Volter?
Aye.
Member Neary?
Aye.
You guys have it. Thank you very much. We have a very short meeting this week, this month, due to we just had a meeting 2 weeks ago. So that's all the ordinances and orders that we have. We'll move along to the city administrator's report. Mr. Giffen, your report, please, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I just have one item under my report. It's a request from the HOA Board of Manhattan Harbor, which is in its infancy. They're starting to transition that over from the developers handling some of those HOA items into the way that it was obviously intended to operate in the future, which is through the homeowners down there. And they brought to my attention the street lights and wanting the city to take over the electric bills on those accounts. And I talked to them a little bit about how this would go and would lead to this point. We obviously did something similar with River Point a few years ago. But this situation is a little bit different, although I think the outcome is going to be about the same, and let me explain why. I had them send me a bill, which I sent to you all for reference a week or so ago, and the total of that bill was for the month of August. It's $210.33. $30.87 of that amount was for the electric charges to operate the lights. The other charges, the 178.54 to make up the difference, was for ongoing maintenance charges. With River Point, we pay the electric portion of the bill only. The HOA association at River Point picks up the maintenance portion of the bill, and their bills typically average for the city about $325 for electric. I'm not quite sure why there's a big discrepancy. I expected the Manhattan Harbor bill to be more. They sent me another bill that I just got about an hour before the council meeting. I didn't want to shoot it out to you all and try to get everybody's attention, but that bill matched the August bill. It was $208 with a similar breakdown, small charge for the electric and a bigger charge for the maintenance portion of it. But all totaled, it's going to be around $208 to $210 a month. So lower than the amount we pay for River Point. The one main difference, and I talked to Paul Darble about this before the meeting, and he was going to maybe join the meeting, but it was kind of up in the air. The difference between this and River Point is River Point, the city does not own the street leading up to River Point. It's a private road technically. Manhattan Harbor is not. It's a public road. So my initial thought to you all was to kind of set this up similar to River Point and just cover the electric charges. But I kind of wanted to leave it open for discussion tonight on whether or not we were going to take over the entire portion of the bill, it being a public street, an actual dedicated street. In my limited research over the last hour, it could kind of go either way. There's homeowners associations across the country that pay for the lighting, electric, and maintenance. And there's other examples where the cities obviously pay for streetlights. So I don't think there's a right or wrong way to go. I'd be happy to kind of open it up for discussion on how you all want to proceed going forward. Again, the total charge to the city would probably be just over $200 a month is what we're looking at, and that's for electric and the maintenance fees. So
Michael,
you get when you open the bill. Yep.
Michael, that electric charge cannot be correct.
You know, I wouldn't think so either, but all I've got is August and September bills to go off of.
I would say we'd have to get a hold of it, because $30 for a whole month of lighting on that road every night for 30 days is $30, $1 a day. There's no way.
Paul Darple had been talking with Duke Energy, and they had confirmed that was an accurate cost, but to me it doesn't look right either. But all I got to go off of is the two bills that they've sent me, and one I just got an hour ago.
How much is the bill for River Point?
I only know because I look at the electric portion. It usually runs about $325 a month just for electric. That's the portion we pay.
There's no way that electric is correct. The other thing is that I know the HOA has assumed responsibility at River Point for maintenance and repair.
Correct.
Because the lighting was put in by the developer. So if there needs to be repairs to those lights in any way, shape, or form, or say someone's driving down there with a truck and knocks one down, I would want that to be the HOA's responsibility.
And that's the discussion that Paul and I had. I don't recall being around when those conversations were going on. Otherwise, I would remember if there was an agreement of, hey, we're willing. They're saying they were willing to put in expensive lights with the anticipation that the city would take them over. Now, again, I wasn't privy to those conversations, so there's nothing in writing that I've seen that would spell that out. It's more of just really up to us on how we want to proceed with that. But I agree. I didn't think that those charges were correct. I don't see how they could be. I don't think we're talking about that big of a difference in the number of lights from one location to the other. So, but it's all I have to go off of right now, which, may not be the end of the world tonight, because what I can do is recommend that if you all want to take over either a portion or the entire bill, that it can be contingent upon the mayor and I getting verification of these bills, and it's something we can come back in January and confirm. It's not the end of the world to them tonight if they don't get an answer. We can bring this back up in January if need be, but
There's just no way that electric bill can be correct.
yeah.
It is possible actually that it could be that low, because all of those lights down there are brand new LED lights, and they're a much lower voltage than the ones that are up at River Point. And I don't know, I didn't do a count on both of them, but I think with the way they're spaced out down on Manhattan Boulevard, there may be even less lights down there. But I think the LED versus incandescent has a lot to do with it. The ones in River Point were put in, 10 years ago. So they're the older technology. I think 2 bills is not enough to be able to make a decision as to whether or not we should take this on. I think 6 months worth of bills and look at it then and then decide. August, the lights are hardly on because the nights are so short. Let's take 6 months worth of bills. Let's say August, September, October, November, December, January. Go through January's bill and come back in February and say, okay, this is probably going to be about the average per month, and then make that decision.
Well, I don't, no matter what the bills are, I think we're obligated to pay the electric portion of it. It's a city street. And I think we're obligated to pay the electric portion of it at least.
I
I
agree.
don't think you're obligated, but you may choose that's what you all want to do, which is perfectly fine. I know there's some HOAs that they pay the electric bill, but it really depends on what you all want to do. I think since we've set the precedent with River Point, I don't see any harm in doing that. And I agree, we need a few more bills to make sure that this is accurate. Joe may be right. It could be because they're LED. They said they verified it, and that Duke had said that that's the actual charge. But I'd be happy to get a little bit more data together to give you all for January. But I think it's worth having a discussion, at least of where your all's minds are in terms of, what side of the fence do we want to be on in terms of the maintenance fees aspect of the bill. As
My other question would be, why would there be $178 worth of maintenance fees every month? What would be the maintenance?
Well, it says other credits and charges. That is all I'm seeing on the bill. I think Paul might have thrown out maintenance fees, so I may be using incorrect terminology. He may be using incorrect terminology. All I'm seeing on the bill is other credits and charges. So.
Who put those lights in?
Who put them in?
Yeah.
The developers put them in, and they paid for the lights.
As Jeff just stated, I'm sorry, Denny, as Jeff just stated, we now pay for River Point. It is a city street. So Manhattan Harbor is a city street. They're entitled to it. But what I'm going to tell you is this. Get ready, Grant Park's going to be next. I know they have no lights up there. But I'm looking 5 years down the road, they're going to want to do it too.
Well, I think if, like everybody's saying, is that it is a city street. We agreed to do it for River Point to pay the electric bill only. But I don't think we need to pick up any maintenance down in there because River Point takes care of their own also. And I was just wondering if that bill was are they still paying for them lights maybe? Is that part of that?
They paid off the full amount of the lights back this summer, $200,000.
Yeah, there's something wrong with that bill.
I think we need to investigate the billing further, but I don't think you want to get into repair of those special lights if something were to happen.
Yeah.
Donna, do you know on the bill that we get for River Point? I know it's there's the electric charge, and what's the other half of the bill? I don't know off the top of my head. I'm trying to see it in my mind. Do you know what it says? Is it?
No, the only thing I kind of pay attention to is the part where it says like there's, I believe, 13 lights, and just that billing part. That's kind of all I look at.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll get them to pull a larger sample size of the bills, confirm that, and then I can bring it back in January.
If that's the case and there's only 13 lights up at River Point that we're paying for, and it's $300 and some a month, maybe that's what's out of whack. That seems like a lot for only 13 lights.
What's the cost of the city's street light bill on a regular street?
No, I'm just
We
saying-
have,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It would be
I mean, we have-
impossible to know off the top of our head because it comes in a couple different lumps. The bill does.
Donna, do you have any
It's the
information for
city
the rest of
street.
the city by any chance?
I mean, I know we pay one bill that's over $2,000. I believe another one's about $1,000, but I mean, I can't, we probably get maybe 6 to 8 bills. Some of them are kind of small, so I'd have to pull all the bills and look that up. Like, off the top of my head, I don't really know.
Well, I'm not interested in you doing a lot of that work. I just think that $30 a month is not correct for lighting a street for the whole month. That's $1 a day. I don't care what kind of lights they are. I think you got to get clarification on that bill from Duke and the HOA.
The second bill that they sent me this afternoon has a much better breakdown, and according to this bill, it's correct. Because it's the second bill that they sent me this afternoon is calculating the wattages, kilowatts. It actually has that breakdown. So, I mean,
Is that just maybe for one light?
let me see if it says the number of lights.
Michael, the bill I'm looking at shows 17 as the quantity. I also pulled one of the old River Point bills that the River Point Community Association had, where the bill was 268.04. And then, of course, there's some other taxes and franchise fees and so forth attached. It had a quantity of 7 street lights for 9,500 lumens, and came up, the usage was 567 kilowatts, and it got to the 268, where this one's 17 lights for 5508 lumens. Kilowatt usage was 412. So one of these two, something's off here between these two bills. I'm just not sure which and the why.
Well, I've got both the September and the August bill, and they're saying they match up in terms of quantity and lumens.
Well, I think you continue to investigate, but I think it's a street in the city of Dayton. I think we pay the lights. I think we pay the electric bill.
Yeah, and the other credits and charges, it just lists special lighting maintenance. There's 3 different categories of it. And
Yeah, see, I don't know what that special lighting maintenance would be. They don't surely go down there every month and do something.
No.
So
But
Do
any
you
part
have
that they
anything like
replace
that
would
up
be
at River
expensive.
Point, Jeff?
what's that?
Do you have any type of maintenance on your bill up at River Point?
Well, we had to replace a light recently, but that's the HOA took care of it.
Right, but I mean, on your regular bill, do you pay?
I don't know. I haven't seen a bill in years, a couple of years, since I've been off the board.
The bill I'm looking at from October of 2017 for River Point had current streetlight charges, which was based on the lumens and kilowatts, was 268. Then it had other credits charges for $215.59.
but we don't pay any of those other charges. We're just paying the meter,
Right.
correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't disagree. If it's a city street, we have the responsibility to light it. But I'd like to know how much this commitment is for, and not just one bill or two bills. This is a permanent, like what we did up at River Point. We've set a precedent. Let's be careful here and find out how much this is actually going to cost us.
Yeah, I'll gather some more bills, but according to the most recent one I got, I think it's pretty accurate, even though it sounds like it
Well,
doesn't.
let me ask a question then. So if it becomes an issue that it's too much, are we saying we're not going to pay for city streetlights?
No, I'm just saying we're gonna have to fit that, make sure that fits in our budget.
Well, let's start taking some of the streetlights offline in some of these other streets that are costing us $2,000 a month, Joe.
Yeah, we've got some old streetlights that are real energy saps, believe me. And I think we need to work with Duke to maybe get more of these LED styles like down on Manhattan Harbor.
It's
on
our
this case-
responsibility. If it's $30 or if it's $200, it's our responsibility. I just
don't disagree with that, but you're saying that in this bill, Michael, there's like $178 for maintenance fees. Are we sure that that's not going to be shifted into the bill? Just seems pretty ambiguous here. Like you said, Jeff, $30 seems wrong.
I agree. I think we need to investigate the billing further.
Right.
I will investigate the billing. Having looked into this one, I think it's accurate. The question is that I was thinking about how I would recommend is the maintenance portion, because River Point Drive is not a city street, but we agreed to take over the electric charges of.
What do you mean it's not a city street, Michael?
It's not a dedicated city street.
How come we plowed and
I
salted?
think it is.
No, it's not.
How can we plow and salt it then?
Because the residents of the community, and that was part of, we told them that we weren't going to accept the dedication of it, but that we would plow it for them. That was the agreement.
So if there's a maintenance issue up at River Point on a street, you're telling me we're not going to take care of it. It's River Point's going to take care of that street.
As far as I know, the records show that it's a private street. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to look up some documents where the city took over the street maintenance.
Yes.
We have it.
Yeah, maintenance, I would agree upon. It's just not a
If you
dedicated.
take over the maintenance, it's a dedicated city street, Michael.
I would think so.
I mean, the same rules apply to our streets up here that apply to any other streets in Dayton.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Maybe not, Tom. If it's the city street, you would have a right of way on the PVA, correct?
No, you wouldn't be able to distinguish it on the PVA.
I mean, a dedicated city street is not part of any private lot. It's down the middle of the street, and you'll see that it's owned by the city of Dayton.
No, you won't be able to tell it on the PVA website.
Like I said, I'm not opposed to paying the light bill for.
Anyway, what I was getting at is, in my opinion, based on what I've known, River Point is not a dedicated city street. We took over the electric portion of those lights. Manhattan Harbor Boulevard is a dedicated city street. So it begs the question, do we take over the other charges on the bill just as we would any other light in the city? Because those other bills that we're paying for overhead lighting, I imagine on those bills, we're picking up the whole tab. Nobody else is picking up that tab. So the question that I was throwing out was, in the case that those are two different scenarios and Manhattan Boulevard is a dedicated city street, we probably, if we're going to take over the charges, we probably should take over the entire bill.
So you're willing to take over replacement. How much were those lights? 200,000, did you say?
Yeah, I'm just saying if I'm trying to keep it in the correct realm, if we're paying for an overhead streetlight on Sixth Avenue, I don't see a difference with those lights on Manhattan Boulevard. I do see a difference at River Point because I'm under the impression that that's not a dedicated road of the city.
I want you to look up if the city takes responsibility of maintenance on a street. They maintain the street, they plow it, they have garbage pickup and everything else if that's not a dedicated city street, considered a dedicated city street. I want you to find that out. And the other thing is if you have a truck go down Manhattan Boulevard and take out 8 of those lights, that's $100,000 bill for the city.
Hopefully that truck's got insurance though.
Well, you hope, but you don't know, do you?
No, you don't.
Well, and is that the case for every other street light in town that you know, the ones along Sixth Avenue and the ones we put in Lynn Drive and
Well, it is the
other
case.
street
I
light.
understand that, but those were put in by the utility company, Joe, not
Right,
by
I'm
the
saying-
developer.
who's responsible for the maintenance on them?
Duke is, and that's probably why in our bills we pay, some sort of maintenance fee that you would see in this Manhattan Harbor bill as well,
Duke does the maintenance, but we pay for it.
Oh, we do pay for it?
Yes. Don't we, Michael?
For the electric on the lights.
No, on maintenance done on street lights in the city. Doesn't Duke charge us a maintenance fee?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On our bills, we're paying some sort of maintenance charge, just like you would see on this bill. There's, the other credits and charges are maintenance fees, and I'm sure if you looked at any Duke bill of a municipality, you're going to see a maintenance charge as well. That's why I'm saying if this is a dedicated street, I would view it as any other scenario in town where, should we take over the full portion of the bill? If it's a dedicated street and lights. I mean, I think we have some leeway here because this is it's a planned unit development. I'm just saying if we decide to take something over, we may end up having to take it all over. Like I said, there's my HOA that I live in pays for the streetlights and the electric bill. So you're not wrong in keeping it with the Manhattan Harbor HOA.
I would say this, even that I won't be around next month because this is my last meeting, but I would say this, before you jump in and start saying you're going to pick up maintenance and electric bill for Manhattan Harbor, I would find out about River Point, because I feel the way Jeff does. I feel that's a dedicated street because of all of the stuff the city's doing up there. Because if it comes back that it is dedicated, then they have every right to come back and ask you to pick up for the repair and replacement of those lights up there as you're doing down on Manhattan Harbor. So I'd check out River Point on a dedicated street part first, I think.
Denny, you're exactly right, especially if we're using them as the precedent that's been set here. We need to know.
Exactly.
So, yeah, Michael, I think if you can come back with those definitive numbers, is the HOA at Manhattan Harbor expecting a decision from council tonight on this? Or are you?
No, I think my conversation with Paul is that, I said, I don't think they'll have a problem picking up the electric charges if those are correct. The discussion that he and I had is the same one that we're having is what about the other portion of the bill? So no, it's not a make or break this month. Obviously, they've been paying it for a while. If it's delayed one more month, it's not a big deal.
So I think if we had definitive answers on, is River Point a dedicated city street or not? Is the River Point electric bill, the portion that we're paying, is that electric part right? And are we responsible for the maintenance and replacement up at River Point? And then how do we apply that the same way down at Manhattan Harbor? I think since we're using River Point as a template here and as a precedent, we need to know more of the details about what exactly that agreement is. I don't disagree that public safety and lighting streets is our responsibility, but I want to know what we're in for here. So I think if you come back with that information next month, we could have a little bit more informed discussion on it.
Any other comments regarding the lighting at Manhattan Boulevard? Mr. Giffen, I believe you got some homework to do there for bringing council back some additional information to help them make their decision. So we'll push that off to next month and thank the people who worked on this in Manhattan Harbor for their benefit. Appreciate that. That is anything else, Mr. Giffen, for your administrator report?
That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Edge, we'll move along to your city attorney's report. Anything to report today, sir?
Nothing to report, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Couple of last things I want to move along before we to go to adjournment. As I mentioned earlier, Member Cornett couldn't make it today. She's traveling to see family, but she did want to mention that the fire department report that came through today noticed a decrease in overdoses throughout the city throughout the year. So it's a major win for us, and we really appreciate their work for our city. This is the last council of the year, so I think, and I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I'm going to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, happy holidays for the upcoming month. Stay safe, and we're very happy to have you. And lastly, I don't think anybody who may not have ever served on council understands how much work actually goes into these meetings. It's not 1 hour a month, it's 24 hours a day. And there's two members on this board today that have done it for many years, and they deserve recognition, and we really appreciate them. First of all, I'll mention Mr. Lynn. Denny, you've been a public servant most of your life here in the city of Dayton. Your father also as well. And you served as police chief. You've given 4 years of your life on city council, and we really appreciate that. And we thank you for your service. Mr. Burns as well. You've given a decade of service or more, I believe. Am I right, Bill?
About 45 years.
45 years of service to the city, and it doesn't just go into council, it goes into to kids sports and just service community. And these things don't last an hour on the first Tuesday of the month. And Bill and Denny, you know this, and we all know this on this channel, that it takes phone calls in the middle of the night. You're walking through the grocery store and people tell you about stuff, and it's not easy. And I really, really, really appreciate the service that Mr. Lynn and Mr. Burns have given us over these years. The city appreciates you. Your work does not go unnoticed, and we thank you. So tonight, in recognition of that, I'd like to offer, it's odd times this year due to COVID. Can't do this in person. I really want to, but I'll make sure this is delivered to your house safely. But we have two cities keys to the city for both Member Lynn and Member Burns in honor of your years of service. We thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in the community throughout the years. And thank you very much for your service.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, I'm not counting them out for 2022, so.
Understood. So with all those things that we've gone through tonight, it's kind of a short council meeting this evening. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Mayor, may I ask a couple questions before we do?
Oh, certainly, Mr. Burns, please.
It wasn't on the agenda, and I don't know if it's I know always in the past we did this, the council had to approve it, but there is a bonus for all the employees. And in the past, council had to make a motion and pass this. So I don't know how you're gonna do it this year, but if it needs a motion, I'll make that motion, but the employees get a bonus.
Mr. Giffen, is that in the budget this year?
It is, it's $100 per employee, per full-time employee, I believe.
So,
That was
Mr.
already-
Burns,
I'll second the motion for the point of discussion. Was that already a line item in our budget though, too, right?
Yeah, it's built into each department's salary categories.
Gotcha. Well, I second the motion.
do we have any discussion on this? I personally want to say, again, this year has been so weird, and I have seen nothing but amazing work by our city employees. So if council so chooses to give them a bonus, they certainly are deserving. So we have a motion to accept and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? So passes. Mr.
Mayor,
Byrne?
can I make one more comment?
Yes, sir.
I personally want to thank Donna and Tiffany and Joan for the outstanding job they do in the office. They have made my life very, very, they've been very, very helpful to me.
They are amazing.
Thank you, Bill.
And I also like to thank our fire department and police department, fantastic people. And I've had the pleasure of working under two city attorneys, and both of them have been fantastic to me. I learned a lot from Jack Fisher, and I respect him highly. As you, Tom, I respect you and everything you do. So I want to say thank you for not only serving my city, but serving my country. Thank you.
Mayor, I just want to say it's been a pleasure working with all yous and over the past 6 years and the people that's been on council and left. It's been a very nice pleasure to work with you guys and the citizens of Dayton. So I wish you all luck, and I'll be paying attention. Thanks.
Bill, thank you so much for your sentiments, and Denny as well. You guys know I both respect the heck out of both of you, and can't wait to see what the future holds for us. With all that being said, anybody else got anyone that want to comment?
One of the things that was on the fire chief's report was that Mark Tumler, who has been a volunteer with the Dayton Fire Department, is retiring from volunteer service. And Danny, you know, back in the day between Bellevue and Dayton, there were dozens and dozens and dozens of volunteers helping the paid staff. I'll talk with the fire board. We have a meeting next 2 weeks from now on this, but I'd like to pay a special recognition to Mr. Tumler and maybe come up with a program that we could encourage some volunteerism with the fire department to keep that tradition going. But I'd like to give a special shout out to Mark Tumler on this.
I agree.
Thank you,
That's
Member
all I
Neary.
have.
We all agree, I believe. Anyone else? Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Bill?
I'd like to make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Bill?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? So it concludes the December 1st, 2020 Dayton City Council meeting. Thank you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Love you all. See you soon.
Thanks, Bill and Danny.
Thanks,
See
Bill
you.
and Denny.